Hey everybody, and welcome to another real estate video. My name is Javier Vidana, realtor slash YouTuber in Phoenix, Arizona, here helping you guys accomplish your home goals. So how do you qualify for a home? We know we need a decent credit score. We know that we need to make a decent amount of money. Some people, even a lot of times I find we have personal limiting beliefs of that. We say, oh, my credit score is not high enough. Even though you don't know how much your credit score is, you heard somewhere that you need to have a 700 credit score, or you heard somewhere you need about 600. So we tell ourselves, I'm not ready. I don't have a high enough credit score. Or maybe income needs to be a certain amount. I don't make enough money yet. So let me break it down to you guys in very simple terms. To qualify for a home, it's not that complicated. You just need to qualify for these three simple things. And if you got these three check boxes checked, then you can go get a home. It's just a matter of how much that ratios look like and how much you'll be able to qualify. But you could go get a home today. Let's go. Now, before I begin, let me disclose, I am not a mortgage broker. I am not a lender. I am a realtor who's been over 5 years in the business. So I know what I'm talking about, but if you want the official exact terminology, numbers, all that, please talk to your local mortgage broker. Let's break down the three categories. The first category is going to be your credit score. The second one is going to be your employment, and your third one is going to be your debt to income ratio. Now, this is the three main categories. Obviously, for down payment assistance programs, there's other caveats to these things, but essentially to start the conversation, these are the three main components. Let's start with your credit score. No, you don't need an 800 credit score to buy a home. You don't need a 750 credit score. So I've seen FHA loans, which is the first time home buyer loans, about 3.5% down. I've seen lenders do them for as low as 580 credit score, but there has to be certain, situational things that have happened in your life that made you get that 580. Usually the bottom threshold I notice is 600. With FHA, it's pretty straightforward. You either have their credit or you don't. Your interest rate isn't necessarily based on the amount of credit you have or what your credit score is. It's more or less based on if you qualify. If you have this credit score, then you get the interest rate that the government has dictated for FHA. Of course, the higher credit score you get, you could, maybe a lender can look into other options, you can get other loans, but for FHA, it's pretty straightforward. Now, if you want to do down payment assistance programs, I've seen some go as low as 620. However, the most common down payment assistance program is Home in 5, and it works in categories. So if you have a 660, you get the entire down payment assistance at 3%, which 3% of your 3.5% means you only have to pay 0.5% down payment. If you have a 640, you only get 2% of it. And if you have a 620, you only get 1%. So clearly, it makes more sense to have the 660 as your bottom threshold for down payment assistance. So credit score doesn't need to be that great. And the best part about it is they use your middle score. So you can have a really high score or whatever, you can have a low score or whatever. They're gonna use that middle score to dictate what your credit score is. And if you talk to a mortgage lender, a decent one at least, will not make you feel crappy about the fact that you didn't qualify. What they'll do is they'll set you up on some kind of plan, maybe give you some advice to lead you on your way to help you get that credit score you want. So don't be afraid to check your credit if you are serious about getting a home with a mortgage lender. The second thing that determines if you can buy a home or not is your employment. This is pretty straightforward. You need 2 years of employment history. There are some exceptions where you can maybe qualify for a home if you don't have 2 years. Let me throw some examples. If you had a job as a receptionist at a construction office, and now you're a receptionist at a dental office for another year, well, you've had those jobs for a year each, so technically you haven't had 2 years of employment, right? Wrong. As long as it's in around the same field and you can describe to an underwriter that is generally the same kind of job, you can get away with that. And you can have 2 different jobs at 2 different periods as long as they'll kind of blend in and classify. Now, the joke I always do is, and no offense to plumbers or strippers, but the joke I always say is if you are a stripper for a year and a half and then you don't decide to be a plumber for the next year, those are 2 completely different things. So it won't work for you. However, if you have 2 things that are in the same field, you can make it work. The third thing that classifies if you can buy a home or not is your debt to income ratio. Without making things too complicated, this is an easy way to calculate your debt to income ratio. Whatever pops up on your credit report, look up the minimum payments of each one of those things. Now, look up the house range that you're looking for and what your payment would look like. So in this example, let's just say you have 2 credit cards with $30 minimum each and you have a $200 car payment. Now let's say you're looking around $200,000, so your payment should be about $1,300. Give or take, just throwing a number out there. Well, if we combine these numbers together, we get this number, which is your debt in the income. Now, look at your monthly income, what you take home. So let's just say in this example, you make about this amount of money. Well, if we calculate those 2 numbers, if we put the debt to income, we get a ratio here. This ratio usually needs to be about, I think, for down payment assistance program, under 45%, but I think for other programs it's 50 to 55. Now I don't know the exact numbers, but let's just say that number needs to be under 50%. And this is where you can calculate how much of a home you can buy. So if your income is this instead of the other option, then obviously your ratio is much looser. So you'll clearly, this 1200 number that we use, you can make that maybe even higher, 1500, 2000, whatever. We can make this a lot higher number. Therefore, you'll qualify for more purchase price of a house. So that's how they dictate how much house you can buy. This is why sometimes it doesn't make sense to pay off a credit card, because all you're really doing to your debt to income is taking $30 off the table. Now paying off a car is another story, right? But usually what you want to do is try to pay off the things with the higher minimum payment, so that way that's not out of the picture, and of course make more income. So before you do anything, talk to a lender and see what they advise. And that's it. That's not too tough, right? As long as these 3 benchmarks are met, you can at least start the process and qualify for a home. How much you can qualify and all that good stuff and what loans you qualify for, that's depending on your individual situation. It can be definitely different. And of course your debt to income ratio has a lot to do with how much you can buy. Thank you guys for watching. If you know anyone that could benefit from this information, please send them this video. I'm trying to help as much people as I can. And of course, before I leave, I want to just give a huge shout out to all my subscribers. We just recently hit 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours. So I'm officially going to be partnered with YouTube soon. So I love doing this, and I'm really grateful to be in this situation. If you're not in Arizona and you like to find a real estate agent in your area, please look at the link below, go to my website and put your information in, and I can find you a realtor in your area. If you're in Phoenix, Arizona and looking for buying or selling a home, please consider me. My information can be found here in my website. I'm here to help you 24/7. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.